What's good, world? My name is Sam Redder. I'm part of the Cloud Boiz, that's with a Z, and I have some pretty exciting news for you. Now, for a moment, I want you to imagine that you walk outside of your house and it's a beautiful sunny day, and you look up in the sky, and what do you see? A cloud. And you're like, oh, it's no big deal, it's just a cloud, I've seen them before. But it is a big deal, let me tell you what. And I will explain to you what my partner and I have done. You see, it all started with many nights of drafting and erasing and drawing and rewriting of many different ideas, right? And we came to the conclusion that the best thing to do was to start small. And that is what we have done. We started with a very rough drawing of a cloud. From there on, it exploded. The whole idea of making this cloud exploded. With the help of Aaron Flo, we started writing and typing and writing and typing all these ideas that came to our heads. And we formulated a beautiful proposal which consisted of these things. First of all, we were going to simulate a cloud inside of a big plastic gallon for water usually, but in this case we were going to use it to make a cloud. We were going to take it and perform an experiment. We were going to place rubbing alcohol inside of the gallon, right? And then we were going to use a little bit of smoke from fire and paper, and we're going to put that in there. And then we were going to close the top of the bottle or the gallon with a cap tightly and insert into a hole in the cap an air pump, right? And we were going to hold that down tightly, and we were going to turn the air pump on, and the air was going to go into the gallon, right, with the rubbing alcohol and the bit of smoke. And on my mark, or the mark of our group, on our mark, I would stop the air, open the top of the gallon, and poof! A cloud would form. Now, extensive research was done to understand the implications behind the formation of this cloud. And we came to the conclusion that, first of all, when the air was pumped into the water bottle, air pressure inside the bottle was very high. And when the top of the bottle was released, the air inside the bottle cooled very rapidly, which in turn formed very small droplets of water inside of the bottle. Ultimately, this created what we know as water vapor, or a cloud, really, and it was beautiful. So far, it's been pretty smooth. Thus far, up to the point where we actually got the cloud inside of the gallon. It went pretty well. I have to say that gathering the materials, it took us a bit of finding within our community, but once we gathered everything that we needed, it pretty much went very smooth from there. There are two parts to our proposal. The first part, as I mentioned before, was the creation of a cloud inside of a rather small gallon for water. Now, the second part of this proposal was to actually create a cloud inside of a rather expansive indoor environment. Now, the way we were going to do this originally is to take, per se, a glass tank or some kind of box the size of roughly a table, larger than, of course, a gallon for water, but a rather large solid like glass container in which we could make a cloud larger. The implications and the problems with this original idea is that if we were to pump air inside of this solid glass container, the glass would break, and that would be a huge problem for our progress. So we changed the idea. We were now going to, instead of pumping air into the glass container, we were actually going to pump a bit of smoke from a smoke machine. And the way we were going to keep the smoke in the shape of a cloud is that we were going to spray water all over the surfaces inside of the tank, and this in turn would form little droplets of water inside of the air inside of the tank, and this would keep the smoke inside of the tank in the shape of a very small cloud, a miniature cloud inside of a tank. Now from here on out, our job will be to construct a tank large enough in which we can control what goes in and out of the tank, and at the same time, simultaneously, form a cloud from smoke. We intend on finishing completely this project and presenting it by the end of the educational year. In the following leaked video, you will see the first part of our proposal in action.
I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Could we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I can really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now.
Yeah, I could use a dream or a genie or a wish to go back to a place much simpler than this. Cause after all the partying and smashing and crashing, and all the glitz and the glam and the fashion, and all the pandemonium and all the madness, there comes a time where you fade to the blackness. And when you're staring at that phone in your lap, and you hoping but them people never call you back. But that's just how the story unfolds. You get another hand soon after you fold. And when your plans unravel in the sand, what would you wish for if you had one chance? So airplane, sorry I'm late.
Now, originally, we wanted to make a purple cloud inside of the gallon for water, but unfortunately, we just could not make that happen, so we decided to scratch that out of the proposal. And unfortunately, folks, that's all we have time for today. Thanks again for watching. My name is Sam Redder. Google me. It's pretty awesome. Stay tuned for more. Thanks.